Hi, Tony Vera, Venice, California. This morning when I got to the beach, I spotted the LA County Sheriff's mounted unit and they were giving out free haircuts. I was live streaming this morning. Some people complained about the stream. I really don't like live streaming because sometimes at Venice Beach, the signal is really bad. But I do it for the subscribers. I'd rather shoot the 4K with my phone. But lately, the subscribers wanted the live stream. But anyway, it's getting heated up. A lot of the homeless are being placed in shelters. A lot of the homeless are being placed in motels by the city of LA. The whole thing is devastating, man. Devastating. These are people's lives, and I work this story because I believe in it. I believe in it. I do love LAX. So I spent 2 weeks at the beach, but I think next week it's going to happen. The evictions are going to start rolling in at the beach. So here's a little bit what I got, some interviews, and I should be at the beach another week or so until this ends. I'm doing the story to the end. If you don't like my channel, people, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can. And please check out the video of Invisible People. It's my last video. It's a great video. Here's this video, by the way.
I'm at 32 feet of elevation.
I gotta catch up.
Okay, Dave. Look at that. The horses.
Wow, but they're letting, so at this point, they're letting people stay and everything? They're just sort of having a presence?
Until Monday, because Mike Bottom says he's going to do something before Monday. They gave July 4th, they're going to clean it up. So Mike jumped in and said he's going to find folks housing before that.
Got it. And are these guys like doing, like rousting people, tickets for whatever, or taking people in or whatever?
Well, LAPD is doing that. Your tents have to be down at a certain time.
Right.
If they're not down, you get a ticket, and then they run you for warrants. But you never see this here, horses.
Right. It's just sheriff's department.
It's kind of amazing, man. But this, I love this phone, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah, it looks pretty amazing.
I got this with my stimulus check.
Oh, nice.
You don't see this. Uh-oh. Yeah, I was down at the
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Chad Taylor. Thank you. Fox people, high level Fox.
no high level yet.
But they just talk about it on their shows.
Yeah, I mean it's huge.
I didn't know that was happening.
It's happening, man.
Well, I'm proud to be a socialist country.
When I would feel the first numb, but now that I touch it, now if I think about it, it's not numb, but if I touch
guys are amazing. You're amazing. Thank you. He's going to a shelter. So, Becky, how come they're leaving so quick today?
Well, I think they've got all their documentation done. So it appears that they were really hot and heavy finishing up the documentation that they're working on to go to whatever next level they're going to do to get rid of the people out of here.
What's the next level?
Well, gee, they don't give me their plans, so I don't really know.
Wow.
I only know what they say, that they're putting people in shelters, and I guess some people are agreeing to go into this recovery home that the barber is connected to.
Yeah.
So I guess the Bell shelter they were taking people to is now full, and I heard they're taking people now to Long Beach.
Long Beach?
Yeah, shelter. But you know, the lie is they say housing. So you have to, yeah, I guess they're taking them to Long Beach. I don't know the place.
Okay.
So I got the word that it's some kind of says services.
Wow.
It doesn't really say shelter on it when I looked it up on the internet. So
Okay.
but I overheard them sort of talking about it.
You see him?
Yeah, I guess they're gonna take him to somewhere. I don't know.
Bell, probably.
No, Bell's.
Oh yeah, maybe Long Beach.
I don't know. He said, I don't know what he didn't say. I said, are they taking you to a shelter? He said a different kind of place. So I hope he's okay. Just hope for the best for everybody. You don't want people just displaced.
No.
That happens a lot.
A statement to make?
The narrative that goes around the media right now is homeless violence, fires every other day. I've heard that said in the news. Drug use, drug abuse, addiction, you know. But I've been here 23 years. We had like a handful of fires last year, maybe 5.
Yeah.
That's a conservatively high number. There's hardly any violence down here. Most violence that happens periodically down here isn't something that happens with the homeless here. The homeless here were put here at the pandemic. They were no longer allowed to be spread out, and they were put here to help manage.
Stay in place.
Help the government manage them.
Yeah.
And but that makes them more visible and a story. So the narrative has always been negative, very anti-homeless, right? Like, oh, and the narrative has also been they're new, they're coming in from other places, and they're growing in numbers. None of that is true. In the narrative should be that every human being has a right to thrive. The narrative should be quality of life. The poor, the people at the bottom. It's not about whether you live in a box or not. It's about your income.
Yeah.
How poor are you? Everyone works and everyone has an income. And it's not about suffering either. It's not about, oh, this person works and suffers so they deserve this. No. Insanity is classless, in all classes, right? And it's a problem. A separate problem is suffering. We all suffer. The rich suffer, the middle class suffer, the poor suffer, right? It's not about that. Everyone deserves to thrive. Everyone deserves respect. Everyone deserves self-esteem, and everyone deserves to be loved for their qualities. We have artists, we have characters, we have musicians. everyone has good qualities and is a part of this community.
Yes.
It shouldn't be about how long they've been here. Everyone on earth is a part of the community. So it doesn't matter who's moving where or what. This has historically been an impoverished community. You can't come in here with your money and say, well, I have this much money, so I don't want these poor people around. That's just classist.
Yeah.
That's fascist. That's classist. So everyone needs to be... Tolerance is the name of the game. That's the narrative I want to see. And it should go beyond tolerance to being cherished. Love. Cherished. That's the narrative that counts.
Beautiful,
Okay.
man. Thank you. Your name?
That's it. Nathan Kluge.
Thank you, man.
So I guess they're going to follow him wherever they're going. I don't know exactly what happened here. So I guess the story is the guy that left the cops, they actually thought he was an undercover cop last night, and he pulled out a pellet gun and started shooting people. So he left the cops because they're threatening him, but everyone thinks he's an undercover cop. And they don't know that he came out of nowhere, but all the homeless think he's an undercover cop. So he pulled some kind of pellet gun out and was shooting people last night. They beat his dog up. He stabbed the dog. Okay, Peggy Lee Kennedy, activist. What's going on today?
Well, today the sheriffs came in force with their mounted division and their off-road vehicles. I would say there was more than 50 of them, maybe 60. And it really seemed like the majority of the time they were hanging out, just mostly hanging out. When I came up on them over on the jetty, they appeared to be getting information, finalizing the information that they had been collecting on people down here. That's really what it seems, because it's not just the people, they were doing the tents too. And that seems like that was the big deal today. I know they took one person to a shelter. They said it was a shelter, but I don't know why. I looked it up. Didn't say it was a shelter. It's in Long Beach, because they've been taking him to Bell Shelter, some of the people to Bell, but Bell is now full. And then two people, I guess the woman who owns a program called Haven, who her name is Heidi Roberts, was super excited that two people went into her program. And I'm not sure if it's like the SHARE program that requires you to have an income with a minimum payment, monthly payment of $550. I'm not sure. I've never really looked into her program, but she was kind of wacky, crazy about it, all excited that two people were put in her program. But I mean, you know, even if they put one person in a shelter in Long Beach and two people got into that Haven program, I think the expense of having all of those sheriffs here is way over the top compared to the success of, or supposed success. And I also overheard them telling people that they were getting people housing. And shelter is not housing. Shelter is shelter, temporary shelter, and less than 30% of the people who go into a shelter get permanent housing. And so we should stop lying about that. It's not housing. Shelter is not housing. It's shelter. And a lot of people leave because it's shitty. So that's the bottom line. Either they stay there and they don't get placed because we don't have permanent housing. And that's really what we need. In fact, I think the money that's spent, the sheriff has spent here doing the crazy things they've done, having mass invasion as if they're homeless outreach, putting a few people in a shelter here and there. I think that money would be better spent actually renting apartments for people. Or how about buying a building for permanent housing? That's what we really need to do. But it seems like they're wrapping up and they're getting ready to do the next step, whatever that is.
What about Councilman Mike Bonin? He's doing something, isn't he?
Yes. St. Joseph's was out, and I think they're still here around. Seems like they're trying to get people into temporary hotels, which is good. It's better than getting arrested by the sheriff because you don't want to go in their shitty shelters. So I don't even know what happened to the person today because I looked up the program and it didn't say it was a shelter.
Okay.
So let's hope that people get in at least a hotel for a little while, but what we really need is permanent housing.
What about next week? Do you think they'll start the evictions?
You know, they don't They don't notify me. That's the thing. The sheriff's not notifying me what they're going to do.
But he said before July 4th.
Right. But we'll see what he does. I mean, we're all going to be here. We'll keep you posted, and we'll update you on what the sheriff does next.
Okay, thank you, Becky Lee Kennedy. Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Becky, he's taking pictures of the tents. It's the lifeguards are taking pictures of the tents. He does. Can't believe that. Now they're doing it.
Thank you for watching this video. A lot more to come. Next week is a big week, so please tune in. I will be back to LAX probably over the weekend and back to my regular schedule after this is all over with. It's a passion. That's why I've been here, getting the real side of the story and trying to show both sides. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I love you guys. You guys are wonderful.
Intense pressure and a recall effort tonight. LA City Councilman Mike Bonin is fighting back.
And today he released details of a new plan to tackle the homeless crisis in his Venice district and blasted the LA County Sheriff for making the situation worse.
KCAL 9 political reporter Tom Waite live in Venice with details on Bonin's plan to house people in the encampments there. Tom?
Hi, Juan and Leslie. Well, Bonin and other city leaders have taken a lot of heat in the past few months over the homeless crisis. Well, tonight Bonin says he has a plan to help solve part of that crisis on the boardwalk in the next 2 months.
We are offering genuine housing.
LA City Councilman Mike Bonin on his ambitious plan to house nearly 200 people in the tent encampment in his Venice district along the boardwalk. Bonin is aiming to do this in 6 weeks.
As a result of the recovery from the pandemic, the state and the federal government have made more money available, and so we've tapped into some of that.
Bonin says his office is teaming up with St. Joseph Center, who will send out teams to counsel and provide mental health services. Bonin also says they now have more options for housing.
As a result of the pandemic, public health made us reduce the capacity for the shelter in Venice, which is now back up. We are opening a 33-bed former motel as housing in Venice.
Convincing some to move inside may be a challenge.
There will be situations, I imagine, where you may have the unhoused say, I don't want to go in. I want to stay here on the boardwalk. Then what do you do?
Well, the current situation right now is the LAPD has the ability to enforce no camping in the park or on the beaches. That's been on the books. That was never off the books. There's a different rule about sidewalks than there is about parks. We've got the sheriff strutting around down there, and we know LAPD has the enforcement authority. What we want to be able to do is give people an opportunity to say, here's a way you can get indoors.
Bonin has been under intense fire for scenes like this playing out on the boardwalk. Attacks on street performers, fires, drug use, and other violence. The situation became even more tense when just 2 weeks ago, LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva went to the boardwalk and said he was going to take matters into his own hands. Bonin is hitting back at the sheriff.
He came in, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He wasn't familiar with the area. He didn't know who the service providers were, and he didn't come in offering people a single bed. He came in, and we were doing outreach for this program. He confused the hell out of people.
Sheriff Villanueva put out a statement reacting to Bonin's new initiative. It reads in part, the Venice community is tired of empty promises and lawlessness. Bonin's plan only ensures that more homeless will continue to pour into Venice from all over the USA. Wherever the blame may fall, the crisis is growing, and it will not be easy to solve. Valicia Adams-Kellum with St. Joseph is leading this latest outreach effort.
I think it's like a hopelessness like we've never seen before, where people have started to accept this is my lot, right? I'm living in this tent with trash around, my living space, and there's really nothing I can do about it. And what we hope to bring to people is exactly that, hope.
And these outreach efforts are already underway. As for that recall effort we were talking about earlier, Bonin is brushing it off, saying these are right-wing forces coordinating against him, and he says he will continue to do his job. Reporting live in Venice, I'm Tom Waite, KCAL 9 News.